What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to Let's Talk Movies. I'm Brad.
And I'm Miguel.
And happy Saturday night. We made it to Saturday night, people.
We did. We made it.
We are in the middle of the Halloween season. Hope everybody had an incredible Friday the 13th. I had a blast yesterday hanging out with some horror peeps over at Good Real Hunting. That was a really good time for Friday the 13th trivia. I sucked at it. I'm just gonna throw it out there. It's okay. I don't know about I know Miguel hasn't seen all the Fridays. JayTee,
exactly.
Have you seen the Friday franchise all the way through?
I have, but I only claimed the 2009 remake in Freddy vs. Jason. I'm sorry.
Bro,
only claim it.
They straight up run together for me. There's so many characters and so much going on.
Yeah.
More than at least Elm Street and Halloween have a little bit of continuity.
Consistent. Yeah.
There is zero, except for Tommy Jarvis and Pamela and Jason. That's pretty much
pretty much it. Yep.
That's it. So I don't know. It's a tough one to remember. But guys, listen, tonight on the show, this is gonna be a fun one. One that I've kind of wanted to do for a little while, kind of had it rolling around in the back of my head. Now that the Blumhouse trilogy has had some time to settle, now that we've all had some time to stew on it a little bit and to think about it, Halloween 2 from 1981 and Halloween from 2018. These are two special films because these are really the only two films in the franchise that are acting as a direct sequel to the 1978 film. So I thought something that would be kind of fun was to sit back and think about, okay, which one of these was a true, better direct sequel and a direct installment to John Carpenter's classic 78 film? And I thought that'd be kind of a fun conversation to have. I love both of them for different reasons. Both of them take a very, very different approach to the story and to where things could have gone. It's a completely different pathway, but it'll be a fun show. And also, huge longtime supporter of our channel, back from the first 6 months or so. I mean,
back to our recording days.
We weren't even doing live shows yet. JayTee was there from the get-go. So joining us tonight is longtime friend of the channel, actor, writer, one hell of a dancer, Mr. JayTee, Terry's Jarrett, man. Welcome back.
Fellas.
Third or fourth time on the channel?
Third or fourth.
Sometime. I don't know. But either way, super glad you're here. And big fan of the Blumhouse trilogy, too.
Yeah.
I think. Unless something's changed.
No. I still stand the Statue of Liberty on it. I'm not changing. I'm not changing.
Listen, I'm rocking the end shirt. I'm here for it, you know.
I actually started to wear mine too. I had my Kills t-shirt on at the gym today.
I wish I had the 18 and the Kills one.
Yeah.
I don't
have
either
I
one
have
of those.
the 2018, the Kills, and the Ends one.
I was actually gonna get the Kills one when it dropped, and I ended up getting the I think they were out of, I want to say they were out of my size in the actual poster logo one. And I got the tie-dye one. It's the gray and black tie-dye.
It says Let It Burn, I think, or something like that.
Yeah, it says Let It Burn, and it's got his face is on fire and whatever. I got that. Which that's a cool shirt too. I dig that one. So but real quick in the chat already, Rosalia is here. What's up, Rosie? She said, "Hey guys." 81 for me. Don Morton, what's up, Don? Evening, gentlemen. What's up, buddy? Hopefully we can get this thing to get the chat moving and stuff as well. So, and Miguel, how are you? Sorry, I didn't.
I'm doing fantastic.
I don't care about you.
It's all good. I understand. I'm third wheeling this one today.
You are. It's okay. Miguel is our permanent third wheel. It's okay.
Perfectly happy to be a third wheel.
No matter where we are.
Yes, absolutely. I'm glad you could whip me out from the holster immediately to be your third wheel.
He'll be all right wherever we throw him. So, gentlemen, the Halloween season.
Yes.
'Tis the season for everything spooky, everything Halloween. Oh, also, we'll probably touch on the big Halloween news, too.
I was going to mention that, yeah.
Thursday.
Yeah.
There's a lot there. I dropped a video this morning, just quick thoughts on a few thoughts that I had, over the last couple of days. I feel like Halloween news or any kind of big movie news always happens when it's really inconvenient to film and to make a video about it. I didn't get home until 11:30 that night, so I was just and I was drained. I thought about coming down here, and I was like, I can't bring myself to do it. So, but we'll definitely touch on that as well. So, So let's start here. Either one of you, JT, we'll throw this to you first.
Mm-hmm.
Now that we've had time since 18 Kills and Ends has ended and you've had time to stew on it, have your thoughts on Halloween 2018 specifically, but also the trilogy as a whole, have they changed now that you've kind of seen the whole trilogy play out and the whole story play out? What are your thoughts now that we've had some time to think on it?
To be honest, like I just watched 2018 maybe like three. It was the day before my birthday, so that was Monday. So I watched it, and honestly, you would have swore I've never seen this movie. It was just that good. Like I thought, I call them dead spots. You know how some parts of the movie has like parts you're just like you should have just left this out. It's moving a little slow. Literally the whole
Halloween
time.
2.
Yeah.
I love Halloween 2, but man, there are some moments where I'm like, all right,
yeah, like come on, let's go. Yeah, but no, like this trilogy. I mean, I know obviously whatever I was gonna say, ends went off on the deep end, but like overall, I feel like the story was there and it was very much completed. So I'm very happy with the 40-year timeline. Very happy.
100%. Miguel?
Yeah, I'm kind of in the same ballpark as well. The 40-year timeline definitely was something that I enjoyed coming into the horrorverse, dare I say. But yeah, since the trilogy has finally like came to a close and we've been able to like revisit the trilogy over and over again. I mean, I've come to enjoy the trilogy as same as I did before, but still appreciate it with new things that I see every now and then, with new things that I learn with how the franchise came to be. But yeah, I mean, it hasn't gone stale with me yet. I'd say I'd agree with JT. It hasn't gotten stale every time I've seen the trilogy or every time I've tried to watch the trilogy as a whole. So still, there's some obvious gripes that I have to express about the trilogy. But I mean, overall, I enjoyed it, and I don't think it was a failed trilogy that I'm sure some people probably have to say for Blumhouse to take hold of it. Mm-hmm. So
yeah, the thing that I keep coming back to, like, for me, I think the experience of this trilogy was unreal. Like, seeing Halloween 2018 announced, the build up to that film, going and seeing that film, and then when we realized that there was going to be a Halloween Kills and a Halloween Ends, like I remember where I was when those two movies were announced, and seeing the preview. Remember that little it was like a clip of some dailies and whatever else that were there. They dropped it on Halloween. I don't know what year. I guess it would have been 20. It would have been 2020 because it was during the pandemic. And like it was like the experience of building up to this trilogy and the experience of seeing it in theaters and talking about it and speculating about it. I mean, our channel was born in that time period. So I kind of like, and I don't know. I feel like I know this isn't even really about the movies themselves, but like for me, it was when I was starting to get into like this whole YouTube horror world. Like I was starting to find the Wham guys and McRae and Fandom Empire and Jimmy Chan, like all of these channels and all of these people that like we know now and we're able to contribute to this like community. Like it was an era in my life that I look back on and I'm like, man, that was cool. Like for the last 6 years or so of getting these films back to back to back. I mean, it's been a blast. So the experience is really special to me. But in terms of the movies themselves, I mean, I still kind of have the same feeling that I had at the beginning. I'll tell you, 2018 has grown on me, I think. Since seeing Kills and Ends, 2018, I think is probably the better of the three. Kills was a weird experience because Kills is like...
Kills was a fun experience.
It's OD. It's OD.
It is. It's nuts, and it's I Kills taught me a lesson in not setting my expectations too high, not thinking I knew everything about a film before I walked into it, because I walked into Kills like, man, I know exactly what this is going to be like. This is going to rock. And I remember, I mean, you can ask him. We walked out of Kills, and I was like, what just happened? What was that? I had to watch it again to really like settle into it and be like, oh, okay,
Right.
like there was way more comedy than I thought there would be. It was a little bit more like all over the place than I thought it would be, and then of course that kind of left everybody like, where is Ends gonna go?
Yeah.
Like what's Ends? What is this gonna be? And there were obviously like the rumors of the script changing and stuff during COVID and all of that. And I personally, I've seen Ends probably 3 times now. I've enjoyed Ends every single time I've watched it. So like overall as a trilogy, is it perfect? Not even close. No, there's a lot of issues there. But I really, really enjoy the trilogy a lot, and I think they knocked some things out of the park. Michael especially, like if you just look at it as bringing the shape back to the big screen, there are some moments in this trilogy that I'm like, man, he's scary.
He's iconic.
He is. He's scary, and it feels like a true continuation of the same shape as the original, and that's something that I think so many of the sequels failed to ever accomplish. So I think in a lot of ways, for me, the trilogy really holds up. And of course, there's ways where it's like, there's issues too, and we'll get to this as well. But the chat is moving right now. Holy crap. We jumped from 2 people to we were at 10 at one point. It's awesome, man. Don Morton said, grew up in the 70s and 80s, 81 is superior. Yeah, that's another thing too, is and we'll get into that in just a second. I think depending on
we may have some generational comments in the chat too. So
whichever one you got to experience, we were just talking about the experience of these 3. I mean, I'm sure experiencing Halloween 2 in 81 after the hype of the first film was just as holy crap, I got to see this, This is crazy. Rosalia said no Rob Zombies Part 2.
At all. I agree with her. Oof, I agree.
Man, I made a whole video about my concept of what I would do with Rob Zombie's H2 if I could change I wouldn't change everything, but there are things.
And that's all people comment. Calm down, Picasso.
Yeah. I've gotten some pretty fun comments on the video.
But hey, that's what a treatment is supposed to be. It's supposed to be different for that exact reason.
JayTee's here. What's going on, man? Our moderator JayTee, he says, "Hey yo, Sierra's here. Your love is here, Miguel."
Hello, love.
Andrew Stevens, what's going on, Andrew? Halloween 2 is the preferred sequel. I think a lot of people are going to say that. I have a feeling that Halloween 2 is going to be,
and I think this is
the winner here.
I think this is a valid debate. I'd say it's a valid topic because I mean, Halloween 2 and Halloween 2018 are both heavy contenders for a better sequel to the original. So.
Yeah, we're just gonna go ahead and do this. I'm gonna throw a poll in the chat.
Okay.
I'm just gonna go ahead and do it right now. Poll. Better 1978 sequel. Halloween 2, 1981, or Halloween 2018. Boom. Polls in the chat. Go vote. Let's do it. And then also, JayTee said, Halloween 2 81 will always be my go-to, even though I love the David Gordon Green trilogy. He, she, we, big boobs. What's up, man? Halloween 2 can't stand alone, but 2018 is able to hold its own. So, that's another good point, too. 1978 and Halloween 2 are one film. I agree with that. So let's go ahead and start here. Obviously, I think kind of what we talked about a minute ago, there is a generational divide. I think obviously people that grew up with the nostalgia, who experienced 78 in the movie theater, obviously kind of have a draw to Halloween 2, and people who are our age, their 20s, 30s, who got to experience the hype and the buildup and the rumors and experience it on social media and things like that of the David Gordon Green trilogy. I think they're kind of more partial to that. Do you feel partial to either one of them, either one of you, in any way, just generationally and kind of because of our age and where we're at?
I feel like at the end of the day, I think that, how can I put this? Halloween 2 is definitely a good sequel. I'm not going to take that away from them. But I think, however, when it comes down to storytelling, and then you got to look at with today's time with technology and, quality has gotten a lot better as well, too. 2018 is beautifully filmed as well too. So I feel like by default, I'm gonna say 2018.
Right.
Like, yeah, I'm just gonna say 2018 by default.
Yeah.
I
What about
gotcha.
you, Miguel?
Well, I mean, I could definitely see where the 81 sequel can be a solid contender for a lot of people because it's it's within the same time frame, if that makes sense.
Hmm.
Because for 2018, you automatically know that this is just like a not like just a revisit of what the original was, whereas the 81 version is literally what it is, the direct sequel from the original franchise. And you could say 2018 could just be a reimagining of what the sequel could be.
Right.
So I think that's where people can really have that divide because people will say, "Oh, well, 81 is the true sequel because that's what started the franchise." But 2018 could be the real sequel because that's just what has gained popularity by default. So, I mean, I'll say this: I've seen like the 81 sequel maybe twice, one with you, Brad, and one on my own, and it starts off like right off the back. Like, I mean,
Yeah.
it doesn't hold any doesn't give you like much prefixes. That's just like straight into the fray.
Right.
Like, hey, look, shit's hit the fan. Michael's disappeared. We got to go find him, and somehow he ends up in a hospital. Like that's how the sequel goes out to.
Right.
And with 2018, they didn't really like give you an idea as to like what happened. They allude to what the story was, if I remember correctly, and it helps you build into the idea of like, okay, well, this all happened, and now this madman's gonna be coming back because he escaped, and then the movie starts. So yes, the 2018 can hold on its own, whereas the 1981 really does have to piggyback off of the original because
Right.
if you were to just splice them together, it'd be
It's one long movie.
one long movie exactly.
There's
So,
actually someone that's done that. They've taken out like the opening credits and things like that, and literally like it. I think it's on YouTube. I want to say it's on YouTube. Somebody in the chat, if you've seen it, help me out. But like it literally cuts like when Loomis shoots him off of the balcony at the end of 78, and it shows Jamie Lee Curtis, she's crying or whatever after the whole it was the boogeyman, and like it's showing the blank spaces, and then it literally it boom and it cuts straight to when you see him doing like the. I think it's so funny because when it shows him fall off the balcony in H2, he's like. like he just slowly like backwards off. But yeah, and Miguel, to kind of play devil's advocate for what you're saying. First of all, like for me, I love them both for different reasons, and I think it comes down to not necessarily which movie is better, because I think most people who are not diehards are going to say 2018 is better because the production value, it's newer. It sounds better. It looks better, arguably, again, for your taste, for your generation. If you like the more nostalgic feel, if you liked the 78 feeling, of course you're going to pick 1981, you're going to pick H2. But if if you get into if you get into like the production quality and stuff, obviously you're going to pick 2018. But to play devil's advocate on what you were saying, the thing that I love the most about Halloween 2 is that it feels seamless. You know what I mean? So, and again, that's a story thing. That's like they could have chosen to jump a year or whatever and to do something different, but they didn't. They chose to literally make it boom. The minute Loomis shoots him off the balcony is the jumping off point. And they, again, they had to springboard off of the end of the 78 film. But kudos to them, though, to Dean Cundy, to John Carpenter, to Tommy Lee Wallace, I can't talk apparently, Tommy Lee Wallace, to everybody involved in that for making it feel like it was that seamless. I mean, how many sequels feel like it's set in the same moment? You know what I mean? I don't think many films can accomplish that. I mean, even
there aren't many films that like, or at least horror films that I know that had the sequel occur within minutes of the end of the original. So for Halloween to do that, I think that's one of the reasons why Halloween 81 get some of the applause that it gets because the way it treated its sequel was pretty well. Like I mean, like again, 81 did have some lulls, and when I mean lulls, some very long lulls, but still, if you were to talk about like how well they were able to connect the sequel to the original, I mean, both did it very well in their own right, in their own way.
100%. Yeah, I would agree. Andrew Stevens, I was glancing over the chat. First of all, Jessica, what's up, Jessica? Great to have you. Andrew Stevens just dropped a bombshell, and I don't know if either of you are ready for this. Andrew said, I'm just going to straight ahead and say this. Kills is better than 2018. Yeah, I said it. Bro, are you trying to get somebody to fight you? Like, are you trying to get a right hand to the jaw? Like, what?
I will play devil's advocate and say that I am with you a quarter of a way. I mean, I can agree that Halloween Kills is fun. Yeah. Story wise, I mean, yeah, 18 has the upper hand, but I mean, hey, look, if I just want to like
very much upper hand,
yeah.
Yeah,
Andrew, first of all, I think that's awesome that you think that. That's friggin' dope. But here, the thing about Kills that I've kept coming back to every time I've rewatched it, I've probably seen Kills 6 or 7 times at this point. Bro, some of the dialogue in Kills is whack.
It's horrible. Oh my god,
it really is. Like, I don't know how they sat there and were like, "Yes, this is it. Yep, great." Like, and there's some things like I didn't mind when like the whole Nancy Stevens, this is for Dr. Loomis. Like, I didn't mind that. That one was okay.
I hated that.
But like it was, I know I'm in the minority on that one. Everybody hated that line. Like the one that gets me though, dude, some of Tommy's lines are like,
that's what I was about to go to.
Bro, what?
Like, to me, I feel like in Kills, all of them talk like they've never talked to humans before. Like,
they talk like,
like, bro,
they have like Power Ranger lines, if that makes
They
sense.
do.
Like, they're one-hit wonders. Every single one of them are.
I watched it the other night, and it was the scene when Tommy came in the hospital to let Laurie know Michael's alive. And so he was like, "Laurie, what do we do?" She's like, "We fight. We always fight." I'm like, "Oh my god, girl!"
Yeah.
Just, you know, and no.
Like, the homeowners association has got to be like on point in that neighborhood. Like, their meetings got to be like lit, you know. So I don't know.
You know what cracks me up though is like Anthony Michael Hall, Jamie Lee Curtis, like they're acting the shit out of it though. Like, it's like Anthony Michael Hall was giving it his all.
They're selling
it. But when he looks into the camera and stuff, and he's like, I don't even like. I'm trying to think of a line. It was his whole speech in the. Honestly, the speech in the bar was decent. It wasn't terrible. I love the jump cut of when he says like he lifts up his beer. He's like, this is for you, Laurie, wherever you are, and then it cuts to her like passing out like, from blood loss in the back. Like, I was like, that's kind of cool. I dig that.
Yeah.
But then the whole like swinging the bat over his shoulder like he's Negan from The Walking Dead, and like he's got to act like Mr. Cool. The hospital was where it got to me, and I didn't mind the whole escape dude Stromboli, whatever his name is, Trivoli. I didn't mind that moment very much at all, but it was the and Evil Dies Tonight is such a cool line.
It is.
But the way it was utilized, I was like,
jeez.
Like when he says it, honestly, here's what I thought was going to happen. Again, what I envisioned versus what we got. I envisioned that Laurie would say that to Tommy, and Tommy would go downstairs where the mob was forming, and then he would. I thought Tommy would kind of be the rallying person, like the person that was like, "We got this, let's do this." And then, I mean, could you imagine if Laurie would have heard them chanting "Evil Dies Tonight" like as a unified thing?
Yeah.
Because then it would have been like, even to Laurie, it would have been like, oh my god, these people are like it's not just me anymore.
With me.
Like for her character and the story they were trying to tell with 2018, where everybody's looked at her like she's a friggin' nut for the last 40 years. Could you imagine what that would have felt like to her? Like, I'm not alone anymore. They're with me. They're standing with me. They know that this is happening. Right. You know, that would have been cool. But then like you have him say it, and then Brackett, who it just comes out of nowhere. And
Damn,
then for me, it was the one woman, the one like random woman in the back that was like,
in the
"Evil
background.
man!" Yeah. And I was
Yes.
like, "What are we doing right now, man? Like, what?" So,
Yeah.
but yeah, the dialogue was a little wild. Colton Candler, see what's up, Colton? By the way, Colton, you better be at Scarefest next Sunday. Just saying. All of you in the chat, you better be at Scarefest. I don't care where you are, you better be at Scarefest. MAGA Cat, what's going on, MAGA? The flashback alone makes kills better than 18, and that pile of shit ends. For me,
I was gonna mention about the flashback because I feel like the flashback was a redeeming quality of kills, and I think a lot of people kind of like overlooked that with the dialogue. You know what I mean?
It was, but the minute Loomis, the guy, I was in love. When I heard Loomis, I was like, "Oh, this is cool." And when you see him, you're like, "That guy looks like Loomis. That's cool."
Yeah.
And then he looks right at the camera and he goes, "Did Michael kill again?" I was like, "What? That's odd. I don't think Loomis would have said that." Like you would think Loomis would have been like, "Duh, he killed somebody again." Like,
right.
of course he did. Like, why does he even need to ask that question? I think it would have been more impactful just to have him like look up at Hawkins and kind of like his eyes get real big and like that like moment of like, "Oh my God, he did it again." And then to turn around and you see the cops like surrounding Michael and have him walk out like onto the porch. Like that would have been cool. But
so
again,
you would have much rather had him not have any dialogue then?
The screaming in the background through the police sirens and stuff was okay. And like the car door slamming, whatever, like that was okay. But seeing him speak and seeing him say, "Did Michael kill again?" It was just kind of like, did we need that?
Yeah.
Like, did he need to say that? Because like, keep in mind, that's supposed to take place less than an hour after he just discovered that Michael killed like what, 5 or 6 people? You know what I mean? So it's like, duh, of course he did. So
can I ask you a question? Can I ask you guys a question?
Absolutely.
So I love the flashbacks. Beautiful. Some of the Kill's best work. From what I heard, and also I would think I probably would have enjoyed it better. Do you think that being that 2018 took place 40 years after the original, do you think that it would have helped had they shown the flashbacks first, like at the beginning of 2018, to then catch us up to where we are 40 years later?
Yeah, honestly, I think so.
Well, because the flashback helped push the narrative for Hawkins.
Right.
Like the flashback was primarily to talk about the story of why Hawkins feels like it was his fault why he's alive. So I could see that. I could see it being like much more helpful to do that. And had we had that conversation again between Laurie and Hawkins in the hospital, I think that would have helped. Yeah, but at the same time, I would say Kills would have been even worse of a movie if it did not have it. You know what I mean? Like, I don't even think Ends would have ended up the way it did had it not been for the redeeming quality of the flashback helping Kills. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah.
Brad, what about you?
I think for me it felt a little like, I think 18 implied a lot, whereas like again, comparing it to Halloween 281, I think whereas with H281, it was just like you knew, because it was a direct continuation of what had been already happening in the original film. Like, there were some things that were like, it's like, obviously we know that, like when Brackett pulls the sheet over Annie, like you didn't, like, we know how Annie died, we knew that, you know what I mean? There were things that we just knew. With the 40 years later approach, there were I think 18 implied a lot. Like, it implied things with Loomis. It implied what happened to the Myers house. It implied what really happened with Laurie, without actually like saying, boom, this happened. This is what happened to the Myers house. This is what happened to Michael after he was captured. Like, I mean, we still don't really know, not that we needed to see him like thrown into a car and handcuffed without the mask, or like we didn't need to see any of that, but like we didn't really know except for what we know about like Laurie, like CPS taking Karen away and Laurie being seen as kind of the nut. Like we don't really know, even in Kills, we didn't really learn a whole lot about Tommy and Lindsay either, you know?
That's true.
I mean, we don't really learn a whole lot about what happens in that 40-year time gap. So like, I don't know. I think having 2018 open up with the flashback probably would have made more sense. And then you cut to Michael being in the sanitarium, you know what I mean? Like it. Okay, if they would have done it like this, if maybe at the moment where Loomis walks out onto the porch and Michael's standing there on the front lawn and the police are like swarming him or whatever, and the camera's pulling back instead of that, because that was when the Halloween Kills title dropped, right? Was like right after that, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe that was when they cut to 40 years later and you heard the alarm sound when the investigative journalists walk out onto the journalists. Yeah, how does $3,000 found? Beep.
Beep. Yeah.
Yes. In today's economy, you need that $3,000, man. I'll take it.
No, for real.
But yeah, like I think even that would have been cool. Like you see 40 years later and then beep and you hear them walk out to him standing there and then you get the title drop. Now, would Kills have been a better movie without the flashback? Probably not.
Yeah.
But maybe, I don't know, maybe you could have done something, maybe you could have shown something else Kills. Who knows?
I'm not going to lie, though. I think for me, I would have looked at it. Yeah, it definitely would have, like, hurt Kills. But just like with 1978 and 1981, I would feel like it would have been like one continuation, because that means that without the flashbacks, we could have left Laurie's burning house in 2018 and instantly jumped right to them going to the hospital with her hurt and all that kind of stuff as well too. So it's like I see it from both sides. So
yeah.
I'll tell you, speaking of the flashback, Magic brings up a good point. It was crazy how Myers just goes offline outside with the cops. It is kind of true.
Buddy just 404 error code right there, just in front of everybody.
Yeah, it like my man has been on a crazy murder spree for the last like 12 hours, and then suddenly, as soon as he's surrounded by cops, he's just like, never mind. And he just like stands there.
But what's crazy is at the end of Kills, when everybody in the neighborhood pulled up, just he's ready to fight. So I don't understand. Yeah. He was in his prime in the flashback, but
I don't know.
It's crazy.
That is kind of funny, honestly.
Well, I mean, you got that old man strength, and that's like borderline supernatural too. So I mean, I give it to Michael for in Kills.
And it's weird. If you look at that scene, he's almost like submissive. Like even like the dude's literally got a pipe and he's about to, or his like club or whatever, and like he hits him, and like he doesn't even like try to get away. Like Loomis is standing right there. Honestly, I wonder if it was because Loomis was standing there. You know what I mean?
Why he just stopped.
I wonder if, like was he?
You mean to tell me it's like whenever your dog runs away and then you find him like 30 minutes later and the dog just stands still, is like, okay, you found me.
Yeah, it's kind of like that. It's like, crap, it's dad. Like that kind of thing. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. I mean, maybe that's just speculation. I don't know. But yeah, because even in Kills, he doesn't even like hesitate to fight. Like him picking up, like after they pull up and turn out, like when everybody rounds the corner and it's like cops and Karen and Tommy and the old lady with a gun and like whatever else, like the chick with the iron. Don't forget the chick with the iron.
Yeah, she's very important.
Can't forget the one with the iron.
Very important.
I hope that group chat's still doing well.
I know, right?
Yeah.
Did you see that Facebook group? There was a Facebook group called that one lady who showed up to fight Michael Myers with an iron.
No.
That's what I was referring to, because like I know that they have to still be active. I mean, you can't really delete a group, so it has to still be active.
Yeah.
They should have just never let him put the mask on. I feel like he was a little bit weaker and submissive without the mask, but when you let him put it on, it was over with. Like,
yeah. It's like whenever the kid puts on his Superman suit, it's like automatically he can jump off buildings and survive a clash. So
and it's funny. I'll tell you, I really like, and this is even like a thing about 2018 too, through the entire thing. If you really pay attention to the way that James Jude Courtney really, really emphasized his mannerisms and like really simple things. Like, I don't know, like I think about the scene. I know everybody said he spoke. He said give it back or something when Karen takes the mask and kills. I don't think he actually said anything. I think he was just breathing.
No,
Have you seen that though?
I
It
literally
does
I
low
just
key
watched
sound
it
like a
like the other day.
little bit. Because
I
you hear
swear.
him when he stands up. I mean, keep in mind, my man was just he was curb stomped into the step like
Yeah.
2 seconds ago. But I think like he exhales or whatever. And there were people that tried to make an argument that he said "give it back," like under his breath, and I was like,
Hey, look, I'm just
I
saying,
don't
if I
think
got
so.
curb stop on a set of stairs, I'd be wheezing too.
Yeah,
So I
Right.
mean,
And got a pitchfork in my back.
yeah,
yeah, yeah.
exactly.
No,
Um,
like
but like his mannerisms in that moment, like he kind of like tilts his head back, like he's getting pissed now, and even when the mob does pull up, and he kind of like he sees the headlights turn, and he kind of like, he kind of like you
he
can
was
see
really
like
caught off
it's
guard.
a lot, and like he
Hmm.
was caught off guard, and then when the other one pulls up and he looks the other way, like, and because he doesn't have the mask on, so you can kind of see like his facial expression a little bit. Like it's those little things that I think James Jude Courtney absolutely nailed. In addition to
Yeah.
like obviously hit the walk movements, how he stabs, how he like does
Hmm.
things, studying Nick Castle, you know what I mean? But like little things, I think that's what put it over the top for me was like the mannerisms and everything
Yeah.
were on point with that film.
Yeah.
But with all three of them, even in Ends, it was interesting to me because like the shaking and some of the ways that he like almost like I know some people said it was like he leveled up every time he killed somebody at Ends, like he like got a
Yeah.
little bit of like he had a little bit
Hmm.
more pep in his step every single time he got out there and did something. But yeah, I think it's by far the best thing about 2018 and about the Blumhouse trilogy was Michael.
Yeah.
Like if you
So
can if you think that trilogy sucks, you cannot tell me that they screwed up Michael.
right.
Sure.
So I guess my question is because I know this was a big. I had this argument, well, discussion rather, with someone not too long ago. A lot of people hate that they took the brother sister dynamic out of the story.
Mm,
Me personally, I prefer them not be related because his motive then is just a
It's kind of
mystery
gross
still.
if it
Yeah.
was a brother and
yeah.
sister kind of thing. Still, at least for me.
Yeah, that was actually something I wanted to bring up tonight. And chat, you let us know too, our brother sister storyline or not. JT, so you said you like the fact that they're not related, that it was just like completely random.
Yeah, because I feel like that was the problem with all the other different timelines is the fact that you still have to stick to the fact that they're related, and
Yeah.
that's what makes the stories kind of confusing and all over the place. But I
Mhm.
love the fact that there was no motive. Like
Right.
Michael saw Laurie. Unfortunately, she was in the wrong place at the wrong time, and she just got attacked. And it shows what happens to someone who has not been treated, like through therapy or anything like that 40 years later, So I love that, So she's thinking that he's out here to get her and like Hawkins stuff. It's not about you, but she can't let
Yeah.
that go. So I do like that though. I like that
Hmm.
aspect.
Yeah. Um, I don't. For the longest time, I was like, why wouldn't they be brother and sister? And I think it was because I grew up with Rob Zombie's films. And I think that was one of the
Hmm.
things he did well about his films was the fact that they were brother and sister. So I
Hmm.
think, like, for me, it could go either way. I know in Halloween 2, John Carpenter wrote that, which he was drunk when he was writing Halloween 2 because he didn't want to do it. But, like,
Hey, he wrote a good drunk piece, I guess.
Right.
I know, right? Well, he said that. He was like, yeah, I had to basically go buy a 6-pack to write this movie because I really didn't want to do it. But I mean, he wrote that brother sister thing when what's her name, Nancy Loomis, but the nurse, Marion Chambers, when Marion and Loomis are in the car and she says about the sealed file that revealed that they were brother and sister. Like, I know they meant that to be a like a like a plot twist, kind
A
of like,
shock
holy
factor.
crap, they're related, and I think like you said, I think with further sequels, when you get into H4 and 5 and 6 and H2O, like I think H2O tried to make it a little bit better. But it's like even when Jamie Lee Curtis wasn't in it anymore, Laurie was still like there. You know what I mean? Because it was
Right.
still their bloodline. It was still he was going after his niece or his nephew, or it was like it
It all
always
goes
had to
back to
keep
Lori.
coming back to
Mhm.
Laurie. Which is fine, and I think Rob Zombie probably did it the best, if we're being completely honest. Like
Yeah.
I think to the scene in the 2007 film when, because at first it's like, does he even want to kill Laurie? Like he's trying to reunite his family, basically, you know. And when he shows her the picture of the two of them, of him holding her when she was a baby, and she's like, I don't know these people, and like he almost looks like hurt. You know what I mean? Like I think
Yeah.
he did the brother sister storyline well, but I also
Yeah.
think that there's value to it was a completely random act. You know,
Yeah.
it was Laurie because she was the one that he saw when she
Yep.
dropped the key off for her dad, and that
Mhm.
was just it. And that is almost scarier than like having some kind of, you know,
Like
having some
relative
kind of like
connection thing.
whole right, like it's your bloodline, it's your sister, blah 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 blah.
Mhm.
Like, I mean, I think I don't know. I think there's value to both, and I like both for different reasons. I think for this trilogy, it worked to have them not be brother and sister.
Right.
So, what about you, Miguel?
Well, I for one didn't never cared for the brother and sister dynamic, because there's one thing that I think that Halloween wanted, that John Carpenter wanted, but he never really got, was he didn't want to put his franchise in a box, or because he always wanted that
100%.
anthology series. So, but obviously Michael Myers became such an icon, so the sequel occurred. But I still think that even if Michael Myers were to become, the icon that he is today, I think that if you would have kept it away, if you would have kept away from the brother sister dynamic, it would still give them a lot more room to grow and build a story. Whereas with the whole brother and sisters dynamic, you have to go with the whole, like, how can I? It's like the Luke Skywalker curse, the Star Wars curse. Like
Yeah,
everything
yeah.
has to track back to the Skywalkers. Everything has to track
Mhm.
back to the Kenobis or whatever. Like it has to track back to that family lineage. Otherwise, who cares?
Mhm.
So I, for one, always enjoyed the idea that it was random and it was just a moment of chance that put Laurie in the crosshairs of Michael Myers. Now, if they wanted to just keep perpetuating the fact that Laurie was just going to be the forever victim, then that's their own doing. But I think that if the franchise didn't open the doors for the brother sister dynamic, I think the franchise would have taken a totally different turn, or would have gone
100%.
through a
I
whole
agree.
I
different
agree.
direction.
Yeah.
So if I were to, like, say again, compare 81 to 2018, I prefer 2018 gets the upper hand because it doesn't perpetuate that story of brothers and sisters. Because yes, while that was a big twist, or it was a twist that they wanted in 81, um, I guess for me, when I first saw it, it was just like, oh, okay, so this is where the brother sister dynamic storyline starts, from Halloween 2 all the way up to the rest of the
Yeah.
franchise. So I
Right.
never cared for that storyline. So, and I hate saying that, because I know we all love Jamie, in the further on down in the
In 4,
franchise.
5, and 6.
Yeah,
Well, 4 and 5. 6,
4 and
Jamie
5,
was
yeah.
like, I was like, what are we doing? Like,
Yeah, exactly. So, but you get
especially the producer's cut of H6, where Michael straight up got his niece pregnant. We're like
yeah.
Yeah,
we're
that's
just
wild.
So,
That's
so
wild.
you see where the storyline can get, like, really weird when you put
Yeah.
yourself in that family or lineage curse thing. So I prefer the by chance thing, because it it gives it layers to the
Mhm.
victim, one of which
yeah.
being Laurie. Because one thing I loved about the character of Laurie 2018 was the fact that she was so hell sprung on trying to get revenge, because she was trying to make meaning out of this experience that she had. But in the grand scheme of things, it really wasn't anything to do with her. It just so happens that, look, doll, I'm
Wrong place,
sorry,
wrong
but
time.
yeah, I hate to say this, but that's how it works, you know. But and I love the realization behind it too when she realized that. So yeah, 2018 gets the upper hand for me in regards to like which way they decided to go with either the brother
Like
sister
with
or just
Laurie.
yeah, duel by fates kind
Yeah.
of thing.
Yeah.
I will say, Laurie, it's 2018 by like it's not even close. The
Yeah.
treatment of Laurie's character, I think Laurie it made sense in 1981, but it almost seemed like, and I know like I try to put yourself in the character's shoes, like think about what Laurie just went through for the
Mm-hmm.
last 12 hours or 6 hours, whatever, how long the timeline was from the time he started stalking them and she was seeing him at school and when they were walking home
Hmm.
and stuff. But like I try to think, like there was so much more depth to her story in 2018. And as much as I love Halloween 2 81, we kind of mentioned, JT, you mentioned this at the beginning of the show, like there are so many moments in Halloween 2 that I'm like, you could have cut this out. Like this doesn't, like,
Yeah.
yes, it adds, it does make it atmospheric and stuff, but like there's so many moments of Laurie walking around the hospital or like roaming around and there's nobody there and there's nobody happening, or random shots of Michael walking down the hallway and it's like,
It
what,
wasn't
like
as
where are we?
realistic.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it felt
Mm-hmm.
like, it felt weird. It was like, why is this, I don't know, it almost felt like a dream. Not,
Yeah.
I shouldn't have said that. Now I'm gonna go back to that Rob Zombie video I made, and everybody's gonna be like, "See, you thought it was a dream." I hate that it was a dream. That's the thing. Rob Zombie the H2. It never should have been a dream. That should have been real life, and
Yeah.
we should have just kept going
I
from that
agree.
moment.
Yeah,
100%. It
agree.
would have been a 10 times better movie if it would have kept going from that moment.
but I agree with you. Yeah, Halloween 2, that whole hospital scene could feel like a dream, and I mean
And
I'm
they
sure
don't give
we've
her a
all
lot
had
to
that like
do.
No.
very
They
true
don't
too.
give
Because
her a
what
lot
she's
to
like,
do instead of run. Like all she
because
does
she's
in that
doped
movie
up
is pretty
half the
much run.
time.
She is doped up and she's in shock and she's
Hmm.
tired from everything she just found all of her best friends dead and they don't know where her parents are and everything is kind of in chaos. Like I get it. But in terms of Laurie alone, I think Loomis is probably what saved Halloween 2. Loomis is one of the better parts because Loomis at least like Loomis is still in panic mode of like, oh my god, I have to find him. Like he's on a rampage,
Hmm.
Hmm.
Like people are dying. We have to find him right now. And of course, Brackett's down for the count because of Annie, and which again is weird. He's so like when he's shocked when Deputy Hunt tells him about Annie, and then when they pull back the sheet and he sees Annie dead, he's like, I have to go tell my wife. Like he leaves. There's
Instantly
like no
became.
emotion there. Yeah, it's weird. Like my dude just walks away and that's it. That's all you see of Brackett. But yeah, it's I think Donald Pleasance saved Halloween 281.
Maybe
I
you
would
can.
say.
Maybe.
Oh, go
Joe.
ahead, JT. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Okay.
Oh.
This is a fun little thing. Funny thing to me is funny that because I don't watch Halloween ever since 2018 came out with Kills and Ends. Now I only watch the 40-year timeline.
Hmm.
So watching 1978, and Halloween 2 is on Peacock. So I watched Halloween 2. I was like, I know Michael cut Laurie on the shoulder. I said he choked her out at the end, but when I get to Halloween 2, I'm just like, why is she in the hospital bed getting sedated? All this, I'm confused.
Yeah,
Like, I was like, you just got choked out and cut a little bit. That's it. Like,
she doesn't have some crazy trauma that like
yeah,
she had a bunch
I'm
of internal bleeding.
confused. Like,
She did fall down the stairs,
did she break her leg?
but
Okay, but she'd
It's the
be all right.
question.
But
she
she
might
wasn't.
have
But
she
Yeah,
she
might
what I'm
have like
wasn't
saying.
fractured her
Like,
leg or
yeah.
something.
but you got to think about it. She fell down the stairs, but it's so funny how she was limping everywhere. But when Michael started coming after her, she was running.
Hmm.
Yeah.
So I mean, that's the only thing I was confused about. I was like, "Where's her parents at?" Like, no one
That's
cares
true. I don't
about
think her
you.
parents were like even involved.
Fractured leg, multiple stab wounds. Like, you take a pick,
Yeah,
Uh,
yeah.
yeah, like and also too, I will say, 2018 has a lot more like memorable characters than
Yeah.
Halloween 2 did. Like, I can't tell you really know. Was Ben Tramer in
All I know is
Halloween
Ben
2?
Tramer. That's
Okay.
about
Yep.
it.
So, yep. But other than that, I mean, okay. A bunch of people in the hospital. I mean,
That's true. If you think about it, like every cast in 2018 is each of them have like a memorable scene.
yeah.
Whether that came down to Hawkins, the mayor, the investigative journalist, and so on and so forth. But like when you think of like Halloween 2, I mean, again, like I've seen both movies equally about the same amount of time. And again, the only people I can remember is Laurie, Loomis, and Ben, and obviously Michael. That's like those are the only four that
Yeah.
I can really remember. Like I don't remember any of their other names because I think back then everyone was just used as can fodder pretty much. It was like, hey, come to a horror movie to be killed, and
Yeah.
that's about
And
it.
That's it.
it's funny that you remember Ben Tramer because Ben Tramer was in it for probably 15 seconds before my man was
Okay,
blown
but did my
up.
man have like the die-hardest moment in history
Right.
of Halloween 2
I will
above the Halloween
I will
franchise?
never forget. This was back when we recorded our commentary for Halloween 281. This was back when we were doing pre-recorded stuff. We were doing like pre-recorded commentaries and everything. When the Ben Tramer scene happened and the car hit him and everything blew up, I wish I would have had a camera on Miguel's face during that moment because I looked over and he was like,
And they just never revisited
his
it.
They
Like,
never
bro,
revisited it
his
at
jaw was
all.
on the ground. It was so
oh, let me say
awesome,
you killed the
man.
kid. Oh well.
It's like
Yeah,
imagine this.
yeah.
It's like yes,
JayTee
really
said
bad
fractured leg and a really bad wig was just too much for
That's
Laurie.
another
but
thing.
really though,
That's another thing.
her wig.
You are this messed up in the hospital from getting stabbed and choked out, but your hair is done. Like, I'm so confused. Like,
Rosie said
yeah.
she was hiding the Johnny Knoxville hair.
Oh my god, that's so funny.
Oh man.
Yeah,
I'm
That's awesome.
confused.
81 hair with that. Yeah, that was a wig, full on.
Oh.
That's funny.
Like, I just don't understand. I don't get it.
It's crazy, man. Listen, I have to give a shout out to you guys in the chat, man. You guys are absolutely killing the game in the chat right now. I love this, man. Jamie Hart, what's up, Jamie? Welcome. Jamie was on the trivia show with me last night over at Good Real Hunting. She said I have to go with 2018. I never liked the brother sister angle.
And I think that's what everyone's gonna be diving into, you know. And I'm glad that I'm in the right camp. There you go.
Listen, if you need to know anything about MAGA Cat, it's that MAGA Cat absolutely loves Halloween Ends.
I'm with him. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
I'm with him.
Oh man,
I think I love Halloween Ends too because I love the movie Christine. So I think just by default, like, yeah.
Yeah. Well, my thing, we haven't even really talked about Ends. Let's just lay it out there right now. JayTee, I think, was the first person I messaged because you were one of the first people to see. Didn't you see it on opening night?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, it came out on I saw it
or like
the
Monday Thursday preview.
Like
or
yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. But JayTee was one of the first people I messaged after Ends, and I was like, all I need to know is, does it give Laurie a satisfying ending? And you said yes. And I was like, okay. I can deal with what, because we were already hearing the rumors of like, it's weird, it's like Christine, whatever.
Yeah.
Like it's weird, people are gonna be thrown off. And I was like, okay, after Kills I was leery, and I was like, all right, if it gives Laurie a satisfying conclusion, I can take that. And I went in just like, I am going to accept this, whatever it is. If it's like Kills, if it's worse than Kills in terms of the dialogue and the approach and whatever, like, okay, fine, I'll take it, and I'll take it right wherever David Gordon Green puts it, and whatever. But I think I was surprised. I think the dialogue was way better. And
way
it
better.
wasn't. It was literally the Corey thing. I feel like the Corey thing is the only, and I know people, the one thing that everybody likes to harp on is like, oh, Michael was a pussy in Ends, blah, 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 blah. Bro was 70 years old, and he was attacked like 45 times by that mob. Like,
and not treated at all.
Yeah.
Like,
well, it even says in the book, like, he would have had tetanus. Like, he would have been, like, really, really ill at this
Yeah.
point, you know? So
And even if they wanted to go with like the whole supernatural like angle, I mean, let's be honest, man. Like, because I remember they when people were complaining to me about like how Michael Myers was like getting all decrepit and slow and weak and old, but still able to like achieve some feats that like I was impressed with still at that age. I mean, you think I think back to the storyline of Logan with like the Wolverine, like my old buddy, pretty much fucking indestructible. But the second he like gets to that old age, like you see how hard it is for him to like interact, to move around. Like you see like how hard it is for him to move around, and it's sad, and you see that. I was surprised. I was surprised to see that people were not getting that same reaction with Michael Myers at that time. Maybe I was just misinterpreting it, but that was kind of again the same type of vibe with like Logan's storyline and Michael's storyline, and how they were playing with the idea of how much he's aged and how like slow he's gotten.
Well, I still think like Miguel, I still to this day, man, I think about it like every time I watch that movie. Miguel said a month and a half before Kills came out, Miguel said the most profound thing about Kills that I've heard anybody say. And it was this idea with the mob is if they would have played Kills, that you have all of these people, dozens of people that are banded together and unified against this threat. And this 64-year-old man still wins. That is scary. Like, it's the idea that like one old man versus all of these people, like it should be a no-brainer. Like, duh. You know what I mean? These people are armed, they're unified, they're ready to go, they're fired up, and he still wins despite all of that. That's scary. And I think I don't mind Michael. I actually kind of liked how they did Michael in Ends, because like the shaking and stuff, it was like, okay, he's visibly ill. He's like, you see his skin, you see how he walks. He doesn't even walk the same. He breathes really heavily. He's definitely like, he's very visibly not well. But he still held that chick up against the wall. He still killed the cop. He still killed Corey. Despite, you know what I mean? He still put up a hell of a fight against Laurie in the kitchen. Like, I think seeing that he still does all of those things still makes him scary. That's what makes him the boogeyman. And that's why we have a whole video that's going to come out this month about the Michael Corey thing. But like, I think that's why to anybody that said that the evil was passing from Michael to Corey, I don't think it was. I think Corey saw fear in Michael. I think Corey realized how scared he was of Michael, and Corey wanted to put that same fear into other people because he had been hurt. I mean, that's my take. That's how
it's kind of like the hurt
Michael
people type deal.
Yes, exactly. When Michael grabbed him and he looked into his eyes, everybody was like, oh, the evil transferred. And I was like, I don't think the evil did transfer. I think Corey was scared out of his mind in that moment. And Corey stewed on it and thought, all of these people treat me like garbage. I can be that. I can be evil. I can be that. And that moment when Michael kills him at the end, it was like, no, you can't, because you're not the boogeyman. Michael Myers is the boogeyman. The Shape is the boogeyman. You're not. And Corey was afraid of him. You know what I mean? And of course, Laurie did end up killing him. But like, I think that's my take on it. And that's where I'm like, I don't mind that he was old and sick and decrepit and all of that. You know what I mean? I don't mind that at all. Because at the end of the day, you took 2 movies. You took this whole trilogy to be like, he's a human being. He's not supernatural, but he does supernatural things, which is scary.
Yeah.
So I think everybody was like, it was weird that people were like, yay, they made him a human being again. And then the minute you make him suffer what a human being would suffer, you're like, he's supernatural. Blah, blah, blah. It's like, no, you don't get both ways. You know what I mean? Like, you can't do that.
But at least you can like, feel good on the idea that like they still thought the man was supernatural because they put old buddy in a wood chipper.
Right.
They said we ain't taking no chances.
They
said we ain't taking no H2O chances or resurrection chances where we blew him up and then you get the little like jerk motion of the burnt hand. No, they said this guy's gonna be a puree, like straight up and down, like.
Yeah, And
Yeah.
I understand people say that this was the weakest fight between Michael and Laurie. I'm sorry. They was whooping each other ass in their kitchen. I'm
They were at
sorry.
it.
Like, I'm sorry. Where I pay rent at, I cannot imagine somebody coming in here throwing me across the table, across my kitchen. I'm sorry.
Mm-hmm.
Like, no, bro. They was whooping each other ass. Like, my God. I'm sorry.
The minute that the microwave goes off and he looks over and she hits him with the fire extinguisher and you hear that like dink, like she nailed him dead across the face, man. Like she got him. It was awesome.
One thing I was confused about watching Ends is that I think I've seen it like maybe 2 or 3 times now as well. Is that so? Remember when, like, right before the fight happens, when Michael gets his mask and stuff? So does Laurie has she already figured out that Michael is in the house, or I'm confused? Like, because I know. Because remember, like her and Allison just had like the fight and everything, and so she's sitting like against the wall or something like that, and like she hears like the wind blowing. She locks the door and all that, and I'm just confused, like because she was looking around as if like she heard something, but I don't know if she knew Michael was there or.
I think for me it goes back to that moment when Corey and Allison are like really starting to get serious, and Laurie comes home and she sees them like taking their clothes off and making out and going upstairs, and it's maybe my favorite moment in Ends because Laurie is watching them in the same way that Michael was watching her, and then it zooms back and Michael is watching Laurie watch her, and she even like turns and looks and Michael walks away. Like I think she always knew Michael was around. And I think when she saw Corey with the mask, it was like, okay, Corey's obviously been with Michael. You know what I mean? I think she knew that. Yeah. And when she turned and saw that the back door was open, I think that was her moment of like, oh my God, he's here. Like he's in the house with me right now. And when she locked the door, I think that was her being like, I'm going to end this. Like, even if I die, I am going to end this. You know what I mean? So I think seeing the door open, she realized like, oh, he's here. Like right now, he's in the house somewhere with me, And
the door locking was like a ding, 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 ding.
Somebody hitting the bell.
Yeah. But I guess another question I have too, then, because before COVID and all and everything got delayed, 2018 Kills and Ends was all supposed to be one night. Do you think that you would have preferred do you guys feel that you would have preferred it all be one night, or do you like the 4 years later? Because I'm curious to see how they would have done. Being that Laurie was bed rested in Kills, I'm interested in seeing like how they would have played out. Because with the alternate ending for Kills, when Laurie picks up the phone, Michael's breathing, and she's just like, "I'm coming for you, Michael." It's almost like, why does that scene even exist now? Because fast forward 4 years later, she's making pumpkins and decorating for Halloween. So
I know,
she's writing her novel.
Yeah, So I mean, I don't.
I'm coming for you, Michael, through sales of my book.
Yeah.
I would prefer the one night trilogy personally. I think I would have enjoyed it much better because at least I don't know. Because Halloween Ends, like I said, feels more like an epilogue than it does a conclusion towards this trilogy. Because personally, for me, it felt like Halloween Kills was the end. Like Michael won. Old buddy just went into retirement and ends, and you had a young kid just wanting to bring him out of retirement. Like that's what it felt like. So I would have preferred the one night trilogy because that's what was promised and that's what the initial plan was. So I was curious to see like how bad that script was to the point where they had to like redo the script to accommodate the 40-year timeline. And I think that probably has to do with like them wanting to play with the idea of trauma. I think that's something more Jamie Lee Curtis wanted. More of. So I think Jamie Lee Curtis had a hand in that. I'm not gonna lie.
Not making them all take place on the same night.
Yeah, I think she probably had a hand in it.
I think so for me, I'm trying to think about it again. We're comparing I know we're talking a lot about, we're kind of jumping around. I know we're comparing Halloween 2 and Halloween 2018. And I'm trying to think about what would the trilogy have looked like if they would have given it the Halloween 2 approach. Like because we just talked about a minute ago, there are so many scenes in Halloween 2 that feel like, where is this going? Like it's just things happening without like and mainly I mean the hospital. That's what I'm really getting at. Like there were scenes in the hospital that I just felt like, okay, we're adding to the runtime, but we're not contributing anything. Yes, it looks cool.
Mm-hmm.
It's atmospheric. It's cool to hear like as you see Michael walking in the hallway or Laurie like sitting down and passing out again. Like it's cool, but it's not necessarily contributing anything. And I think for me, it's like, okay, like you said, Miguel, Laurie was, I mean, at the beginning of Kills, she's passing out in the back of the truck from blood loss. Like she was done. He had thrown her off of the balcony, hit her multiple times, stabbed her several times. Like she had gone through the ringer. So I think that's maybe the thing that caused them to look at this and be like, okay, what do we do here? Because Laurie would have been down for, if they would have taken place on the same night, Laurie would have been down for the count the entire time.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Or it would have run into a Halloween 2 scenario where she's just crawling around the hospital doped up for however long, because it's like, you know, so I don't know what that would have looked like if, you know, it would have just been Michael versus the town, or like Michael versus Allison, and you know, I don't know. I don't know. Could it have worked? Sure. But I don't know that it would have been quite as effective as making it take place after. And for me, you said ends feels like an epilogue, which I completely agree with. But even Kills doesn't feel like a finale to me. Kills feels like a tacked on
WWE
segment.
match.
Yeah, like it's like a tacked on like bonus episode, like that kind of thing. You know what I mean? Like I don't know.
It feels like a WWE match, but like your guy loses. Like that's what it feels like, and that's like the end. Like that's how I figured it was supposed to be.
That's life,
you know,
kids.
Well, you know how like some movies, some horror movies, like, you know, they don't end the way you want them to end. Like sometimes like people don't survive. Who am I thinking of? It was a Texas Chainsaw Massacre movie. Was it the beginning? Texas Chainsaw Massacre, the beginning, where they thought she got away, but then she ended up getting sawed in half. Is that the one I'm thinking of?
The new Texas Chainsaw that was absolute hot steaming garbage.
Yeah. Well, still, like, you know, that's a trope that happened. You liked it?
Did you like it?
Did.
Oh wow!
I did.
Oh, I gotta say,
I could see that.
Now, I will say this though: the quality and the effects, it did look Dollar Tree. It did look real
Dollar
cheap.
Tree. It did.
But,
that's a good way to put it.
However, though, like it was a good. I will say it was one of the first movies in a while that I actually jumped a couple of times, surprisingly though. So
it had some good moments. I mean, the gore and the you know, the scary stuff was pretty good. The thing that killed me was it didn't feel connected to the original like whatsoever.
Yeah.
It felt very much and I know there was like seeing the original Leatherface mask at the beginning in the store and stuff, and seeing the documentary, like there were moments that I guess felt like it, but even the look of Leatherface, like it didn't look like the same physicality. Like it was weird. I don't know. I've only seen it once, and maybe I would change my mind. My hardcore Texas Chainsaw opinion that gets me, you know, in the doghouse is I love the 2003 remake. It's my favorite of any of them. 100%. The 2003 remake, the 3-make as I call it, the 3-make may be my favorite horror remake of all time. Maybe. I love it. But then Texas Chainsaw 3D, do you remember that from 2013?
With Trey Songz in it.
Yeah.
I hate that movie, bro. I hate that movie.
Get out of here, bro.
God.
Really? Even with Trey Songz?
Yo, his acting is rubbish. It's rubbish.
It is. It's pretty bad.
And then on top of that, I hate the line when like
Alexandria Daddario.
Do your thing, cuz. I hate that part, bro.
It's not great, but there's something charming about it that I just kind of like. I know, man. I know.
And the movie had potential, like the carnival scene and all of that.
It
It
did.
had potential, but
Did.
bro,
That had a great flashback. That flashback scene is overlooked. People want to talk about the flashback in Kills. The flashback in Texas Chainsaw 3D when it shows the house, and they made that house look identical to the 74 movie.
because they found the
Absolutely
baby and stuff too, right?
identical. Yeah, because like the
Yeah,
cop
yeah.
goes, because they like you see the semi out on the road, and when the cop pulls up and they're like, just send the kid out, that's all we want. Like they just wanted Leatherface or whatever. And like when the guy playing Drayton didn't look 100% like him, but like when he goes back in there, when all of the like the rednecks pull up and they got their guns and they're trying to get Leatherface out of the house and whatever, and when Drayton walks back there and he's like, you did it now, boy, and whatever else, and he, I don't know, I thought that was really, really well done flashback.
Yeah.
Probably not as good as Kills, but I thought it was well done. So Magus said he laughed so hard when the dude told Leatherface he was canceled like Ashton.
Yes. When they was on the bus.
I
Bro,
did think it was kind of funny when he gets on the bus and he starts the chainsaw and everybody's like,
yes.
It just felt like they
That's
threw
all they're
Twitter
doing.
into the Texas Chainsaw Massacre movie. That's kind of what it felt like for me. So,
but
and
I
I'll
was
be
also
honest,
like
that
that,
bus,
like
that bus scene is one of I'm sure that's probably
It's
one of the
good.
glorious scenes in like 2000 in this 2020s. You know what I mean? Like that's
the one
definitely
that
a
gets me
contender.
in the bus.
Yeah.
Is when the chick tries to crawl out the window and she's like halfway out and then she starts like shaking with it and it's like, oh,
Yeah, that's pretty tough.
That's rough. That's rough, man.
Yeah.
Real quick, let's go over to the chat before we keep talking. This is fun, man. I'm having a blast here.
Yeah, same here.
Let me go up. Magus said, answer this question then why when Myers was wounded, he went in the caretaker's bathroom to get gauze and antiseptic for his wounds, but didn't try to fix them after kills? That's a good question.
I feel like everyone was on high alert, so he really couldn't go anywhere for real.
Right, and even in the Ends novel, like I know the Ends novel is kind of still its own thing, but like I think they describe in the Ends novel that like, I mean, there was like a manhunt for him. Like,
yeah,
I believe like the FBI was involved in the manhunt.
Like, oh, buddy was 5 stars
like,
in GTA. Like,
yeah,
for real.
had to like hide.
Like, that man was on America's Most Wanted like the next morning. You know what I mean? So like, I think it was probably that he probably couldn't go anywhere or do anything, and then after that, like. Look at him. I mean, he looked terrible. His skin was all burned. Like, is he gonna walk into a convenience store and shoplift? Like, you know what I mean? Like, what? Like, what's he gonna do? You know? So I don't know. That's a good question. It's still weird. Like, I think it's cool seeing him bandaged and whatever, but like, I still find it weird thinking about him like pouring peroxide or alcohol and like trying to bandage it. Like, it's kind of weird to think about him doing that. You know? It's kind of funny. Don said, yet earlier in Kills, Myers takes out multiple well-armed, fully trained firefighters, no problem. He does.
He does. I think it's something that's overlooked in Kills. I'm not going to lie. This is another thing that's overlooked. I think that's a pretty dope scene.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a killer scene. I love it.
That's why I feel like I wish that scene was not in the trailer. I would have loved to have gone in the theaters and just seen him just like slaughter all these. I would have been like, bro.
I agree. I think that if that was kept out of the trailers, that would have helped it, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Like, but
listen, I gotta say, my man had to have been hot underneath that mask and them overalls.
No,
he had to have been. So I mean, he had 12 different kinds of swamp ass in that suit, 100%. Like,
that thing
I mean,
is not clean.
He needed to shower for like 12 days after that. Like, man.
Bro, imagine how bad he smelled in Ends, bro. Like, I'm sure, like, old buddy, like Corey Cunningham, like got so close to that man. You mean to tell me he didn't like recoil at the smell of Michael Myers?
But my thing is, he's putting the mask on. This man been breathing in this mask. You know, Michael's not brushing no teeth.
Gross.
He's not brushing no teeth.
Gross. I didn't even think about that.
Yeah, that's nasty, bro.
Skin crusties and hair and
yeah.
I didn't even think about that. Gross.
Yeah,
like, it doesn't surprise me that Laurie ended up like really trying to slit off Michael's throat because he was smelling up that kitchen. I'm sure, like no doubt in my
Yeah.
mind. I'd be pissed too if you try to
Yeah,
smell my kitchen
you
up.
asked how Laurie knew. She took a deep breath.
Right.
There's no
She's sitting there.
She
Michael
smelled that.
Myers cannot hide and ends because old buddy is rank. So
You see her.
yeah.
Well,
She's
hold
like,
up though. I will say this though.
ugh.
Maybe I will say this after 4 years, yeah. But in 2018, he stole those coveralls, right? From the mechanic at the gas thing, right?
Mhm.
It's just like, bro.
Like
Oh.
that's still smelling. Like I'm sorry if you smell the mechanics overall, that shit gets kind of rank too. So
Oh.
yeah.
Oh,
Yeah. So many layers to unpack.
nasty.
I have an unpopular opinion.
What's up?
I love the trilogy, and I think going forward that would be my timeline. However, I would have been okay if Michael just burned in Laurie's house, and that would have been it. No kills, no ends.
I think I would have been too.
Yep. Because him looking up, like I said, when I watched it the other day, you would have swore I've never seen this movie because when he was looking up, he was like, "These bitches got me."
Yeah.
Like,
Well, he
bro.
I think you're onto something there though, because he does look at her like he in the moment when she finally slams the thing down and the bars come across, he almost pauses, like, and I know the camera kind of moves from him up to Allison and Karen and Laurie, but like he almost gives them this look of like, what?
Damn.
Yeah, because I think Allison
like he
was
doesn't
saying something.
understand.
Yeah, and when Karen was like, "No, baby," and they all looked back at him, and they was like, and she was like, "It's a trap." Like, in other words, like they have really been waiting for me. Like, this is
Yeah.
literally designed for me. It was nowhere he could go from there. Like, seriously. And people all say they heard breathing at the end. I didn't hear that, but yeah, I would have been okay.
It was at the very end of the credits.
Like
Like
after
you
the
had
credits.
to stay to the end.
Oh, this is not Marvel. I'm not doing that. I'm not doing that.
Yeah, that's true.
But yeah, like I would have been okay if that was the ending because I mean, 2018. I'm sorry, 1978, 2018. That's it. I would have been cool with that.
Personally, ends and kills feels just like extra fluff if you think about it.
Yeah.
Because it felt like a solid it felt like a solid end for Halloween 2018, and I think the same goes for like 81 too, as well.
Yeah.
Like though they felt like ends to the original, but I mean, yeah, I could totally see 2018 being like if ends and kills was not there, I truly would have felt like, man, they could reboot this again. You know, like there's no reason to continue the story after that. You know what I mean?
Right.
So
Let me
I agree
ask
with you
you
there.
this. Again, talking Halloween 2 as well. If now, who knows? Maybe in 40 years, maybe they could have done Halloween 2018 and done a sequel. Would you have been okay if after Loomis lights the match and Michael and Loomis burn at the end of Halloween 2, if that would have been the end of Michael until Halloween 2018 came out? And there was no H4, no H5, no H6, no H2O, no Resurrection, no Rob Zombies, nothing. Like, if that would have been it when Loomis says it's time and lights the match and the room explodes and then you get the fire walk when Dick Warlock walked out and then drops and you see the mask burning at the end of Halloween 2, if that would have been the last time you see Michael Myers until 2018, would you have been okay with that?
Chef's kiss.
Yeah. I would have to.
Yeah.
I think I would have. I question whether or not it would have had the impact that it did. But then again, though,
I think so.
H6 or H4 didn't come out until what? Like, when did Halloween 4 come out? It didn't come out until 1988. So I mean, we went 7 years without any Michael Myers. Like, if they wouldn't have done H4, I mean, like, we may have not gotten any more Michael. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I don't know. I think it was kind of a gamble there. Like, I don't know.
I don't know because the times we're in now, I think everybody is getting rebooted. So we would have got it regardless, I think, though, at this point. I mean, Jesus.
I think the era of like reboots has just perpetually been there. Like,
And this
Yeah.
lasted a lot
It's-
longer than what
yeah.
I would like too.
Well, even now,
Mhm.
like they're talking about rebooting the MCU after Secret Wars. Like,
Well, wait, hold on. With Miramax, they're thinking about rebooting it again, right? Like Michael
yeah, they're
Myers.
rebooting it again. This is gonna be.
Yeah.
Well, okay. Okay, let's jump here. In that video I released this morning, I think there's a few different options for what Miramax could do here. Number one, I think it's important to remember that Miramax is co-owner with Trancas of the film rights. I believe they still are. I could be proven wrong. I don't know. But I'm fairly certain that they still co-own the film rights with Miramax. So, like, yes, they are sole owner of the. I mean, of course, Miramax is still, or Trancas is still in charge overall. Malik Akkad is still like the guy. But what if they used this new series to go back? Everybody says they want a sequel to H4. They want a sequel to Resurrection. They want Rob Zombie's Halloween 3. They want a sequel to Halloween 2. Like, whatever. Like, what if they used this to go back and it was almost like a Marvel's What If kind of thing if they went back and told stories within other timelines?
That'd be gross.
JT's shaking his head. He's like, bro.
Yeah.
Bro. Because let me tell you something. They don't understand how lucky they got that people just jumped on board with
18.
erasing all the sequels in just 1978 and 2018. To say to possibly come out and say, okay, ignore everything that happened in 2018, kills and ends. That didn't happen. Ignore this and that. Like, we're gonna do a direct sequel to. It's too much for a person that's trying to follow. You know, so I mean, it's good for people who are like diehard Halloween fans, but the average moviegoer is gonna be like, "What the hell is going on? Like, who is this? What is it? It's too much. It's too much. It's gonna be like what you call those things? Like, we trying to find like the murderer, and you got like all the thread and the yarn on like on the map and stuff like that.
Yeah.
That's what it's gonna look like. And like, no, they got lucky with this trilogy. So that's why when I saw it, I said I would not. I will wait for it to come out on Peacock or whatever. Like, I'm not gonna invest in this one. I can't do it. I have no more left in me.
I don't think that they'll do that because, I mean, they want longevity, right? Like, they want to be able to stretch this and make it last a while. I don't think it's a fun idea, but I don't think they would do it just because, I mean, that's finite. Like, how many times do you do a sequel to H4? How, like, even if it was just one episode, like a 50-minute episode, like how many times can you do that? Because a season you do a sequel to H4, you do a sequel to Resurrection, maybe do Rob Zombie's H3, maybe you do throw Season of the Witch in there, a couple episodes, like you do an H6, like how many times do you do that? But then I do think the obvious option is it's just going to be a reboot. Now the thing is, there's been talk of like the cinematic universe thing. Did you see that?
Yeah.
In that Deadline article? That's the thing that I'm like still trying to wrap my mind around. Wait, part of me is like, that sounds like the worst idea I've ever heard in my entire life.
No.
And then part of me is like, but it could kind of be cool if they did it like right. Like, I don't know. I'm very torn about the cinematic universe thing. I don't know.
Chris from 3C Films, he said something that I liked with the whole cinematic. So when you think about it, though, I don't know where they would want to pick up, because you could not pick up from ends. I'm sorry, you can't go nowhere.
You can't.
My man is ground beef. Like, he is ground beef at this point.
No, it's dead. But watch like Halloween, like the original, or even Halloween 2. Like when Dr. Loomis is talking to like the sheriff and stuff, it's all kinds of like different stories and stuff that they're giving, like things that's going on around this town.
Right.
So I'm assuming that like, they'll explore like what's going on around Haddonfield, I'm assuming, or whatever. So because Michael exists in that universe, but I just feel like the Michael story is done though. Like, I don't know what else they can do. Like, even they was to like erase everything and just start from scratch, I still don't know where Michael could come into play with this. Like, I just don't know.
At first, I was like, maybe at first the series will be the story of the original film. Like it'll be like Judith dying at the beginning. Then maybe we'll get a little bit of Loomis and Michael like in the sanitarium when he's a kid, kind of like what Rob Zombie did,
Hmm.
that kind of thing. Then we'll get to where he escapes and things like that. You want to do cliffhanger season finale when he shoots him off the balcony, whatever. But like I'm thinking, okay, then maybe they do different seasons where it branches off and they do other things that they haven't done before. You tell
Hmm.
different stories, like what the comic books have done, or like what some of the canceled films have done. Not that they would adapt any of that, but just like
Yeah.
its own brand new timeline, its own brand new thing.
Yeah.
And then I'm thinking, okay, maybe they go back, like everybody's been like, hey, let's do a Dr. Loomis series. But like my only thing with a Loomis series or a Laurie series or something like that is like how do you keep that interesting? Like I part would a Loomis series be interesting, like a deep character study into Dr. Loomis? Sure. But how do you make that scary? How do you make that tense? It's still a horror property. It's still you still have to
Right.
make it scary. Do you do it like the X-Files where Loomis is going around to different people, but then again it takes away from Michael because Michael's like when he sees Michael, Michael is the worst thing he's ever seen. So like
Right.
I don't know. I can't fully wrap my brain around the cinematic universe thing. And maybe I'm reading too far into it, but and there has to like part of me thinks there has to be something. It wouldn't have said that. They wouldn't
Hmm.
have come out and said that if there wasn't some idea, some pitch, some thought, some this is a way we can pull this off and make it work.
Right.
That I don't know. Miguel, what do you think about the whole HCU Halloween Cinematic Universe
HCU.
thing?
No, I'm not for that. Honestly, I don't
Yeah.
want this to be a cinematic universe. I know that if we had to do that, if those projects are going to be coming down the pipeline, I would say that the Halloween franchise might get diluted a little bit.
Yeah.
And I think right now, the Halloween franchise should take its win because it is probably one of the most one of the franchise with the best continuity in regards to storytelling, because you have only like three storylines to follow. I suppose the original standard storyline, and the sister storyline, and then the Rob Zombie storyline. Like you have those, and that's it. Whereas a lot of franchises are just way out of the ballpark and they just go left field with everything, and just this franchise really feels more cohesive for how long it's gone. So for it to go into Miramax and wanted to do this whole like Halloween cinematic universe or like
It's too
series,
much.
I think it's going to dilute the franchise way
It's
too
Yeah.
going
much.
into extra innings right now. Like
Yeah.
Extra innings. Like this gets to the point where it's like, bro,
Yeah.
not even a stretch block can help us get through three
Right.
more innings. You know what I mean? Like, so I wouldn't be all that excited. I'd be excited for another Halloween project for sure, but like I don't know, for that much, for just one particular icon, it's too much. Yeah.
yeah.
So
I don't know. I could go either way. I think it could be cool, but I think it could also be like what are you doing, man? I think tell me what you JT, you tell me what you think. I've talked to Miguel about this before.
Mhm.
I think they should have done a season of the Witch series first.
Yes.
And
Yeah.
Yes.
then in 6 years, cool, do Michael stuff, fine. Because then at least
Yes.
there's been time to breathe. And it's like, all right, cool. We've had some time. We've missed the shape a little bit. Let's now bring Michael back. Plus, I think Season
Right.
of the Witch is like it's there, man. The lore is there. You could really build on
And
that story,
and
man.
anthologies are coming up right now too. Like
Right.
people I love an anthology because that means
Yeah.
that I can get. It's almost like I'm watching multiple movies in one good sitting.
It's always
not,
fresh.
yeah, So I just feel like, and then when they saying that they were trying to make it like a TV show, like Halloween and stuff too.
Yeah.
Michael, I feel like his presence is too big for
A TV show.
Like it works for Chucky because Chucky has personality, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Like, and keep in mind the thing that hurts Michael as well too. Michael does all his stuff on Halloween night. You cannot stretch a whole series over one Halloween night. It just won't work, you know. So I'm gonna opt out on that one. I'm no.
Control Alt Delete.
Control.
Yeah, I'm fine. I'm not
I don't
doing
know.
that.
I think if you like push the Season of the Witch anthology series for a while and give it time for the Blumhouse trilogy to mull it over, maybe have like a I don't know, maybe like a 5-year reunion, 5-year anniversary of the Blumhouse trilogy, and then somewhere near the end of Season of the Witch, you hint at the idea that there is a serial killer out on the loose who dons the Michael Myers mask, and then you can start another project with Miramax. I think that'd be a really interesting angle to go about it. You know what I mean? Like, give me a lot of anthologies, but then if you want to revisit the story of Michael Myers, by all means, yeah, I would be all for it. I'm glad with that avenue.
Would you want to see
I wanted to see.
What were you gonna say, JT?
Go ahead, JT. I'm sorry.
Oh, I'm sorry. I was going to say, like, would you want to see him in like the Laurie story again, though? Because Jamie Lee Curtis is not coming back.
No, right? I wouldn't. No, because you would then be perpetuating the you'd end up going in that whole like Skywalker curse again, like following the Strode family. I would, pick a different victim. I'd say, just make it. I guess if you want to bring it new age, do it new age and see if that fucking works. But because I think what Laurie did with this legacy storyline, it was gonna be attempted again with Texas Chainsaw Massacre with Oh Girl, and that one
it just did not work.
That one had a failure to launch moment right there. So
well, it tried for like 2 seconds. Like if she would have been in the entire movie and that would have been the point, I get it, but like she literally was in the movie for maybe 5 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe.
She didn't even try.
She didn't even try.
Yeah.
Like if your strategy is to walk out of there with a shotgun and like just start screaming at him, like
I need you to do some work.
Chose the wrong strategy.
Yeah.
Rosie and Andrew, I'm gonna get to your comments in just a minute because they're interesting. I went back to the Deadline article and I pulled this up just because I wanted to double check. It says, this is not speculation, this is in the Deadline article from Thursday. This is an exact quote. No one is commenting, but I hear Miramax, along other companies with long horror traditions such as A24 and Blumhouse, had been locked in a tight race over the past several weeks for the Halloween TV rights. Why was Blumhouse still locked in to try to reserve the rights for themselves? Like, what were they? And they were going after the TV rights, so like, why was Blumhouse going after the television rights? Like, what were they going to do with it after they turned him into ground beef?
I think they want to push the Season of the Witch. I think people are starting to get into the Season of the Witch territory because that was.
I was about to say, it has a big following now.
Yeah. I think that one surpasses the brother sister storyline. I will say. I think the Season of the Witch anthology storyline has a deeper cult following than the brother and sister one.
That's fair.
And I think that if you're going to do a storyline, I'd much rather see just an anthology other than just the Strode family dealing with Halloween. So
I agree.
JT, do you remember the rumor? I had put this on Twitter the other day. I think I had replied to Mike Holtz's comment from We Watched a Movie. There was a rumor I remember hearing, and I don't think it got much traction. It may have been complete BS. I don't know. But I
Okay.
feel like there was a rumor right after Ends released, because Miguel and I talked about it in the parking lot after we did our like out of theater reaction.
Hmm.
There was a rumor that Blumhouse wanted to take, because you see Allison drive away at the end of Halloween Ends.
Yeah.
There was a rumor that like there was going to be a series about Allison where it was like she was using what she learned from the Myers experience, and
Hmm.
she became like a Loomis psychiatrist, and she was going after people almost like a Jodie Foster Silence of the Lambs
Yeah.
type deal. But
Hmm.
even that though, it's like, but don't. It's Halloween, but is it really Halloween? Like, is it
Again, that
really
was
Right.
Halloween
attempted
as we
with a
know it?
series, and that got canceled with Silence of the Lambs. Like that Silence of the Lambs TV
Right.
show, it got canceled. Like nobody
Yeah.
wanted to see that.
And
Rest-
I don't
You gotta
know. Again,
understand, horror movies
that
turning
might not
into
have happened,
series
but
just does not work. It just doesn't work.
Chucky is the only one I can see like really
I'm a
doing it. But
faithful
again,
watcher of Chucky.
it's
Faithful
because
I
watcher.
haven't seen it.
I'm with
It's so
Jicky.
good.
He has personality.
Yeah.
It's,
I will honestly say, I will go on the limb and say this, and people will probably be pissed if when me saying this. I will watch the show over the movies.
I'm not
I
a
will
huge.
watch the show.
I like the
I'm hearing
original.
more about that. Yeah.
But all of the sequels, I'm not a major Child's Play fan. It just
I'm not
doesn't-
either. That's the
it doesn't
thing.
do
I
it
mean,
for me.
it's cool, but like, yeah, like the show is good. I guess because like I have a better understanding of Charles Lee Ray. Like they answered the questions about because I mean it's a doll jumping on you and you're acting like you can't get up, but now I understand that when he is in this doll form and the doll is now possessed,
Right.
it also possesses that human man, strength as well too. I didn't know that until the show. So it's
Yeah.
a lot of unanswered questions and stuff too.
Right.
So I like
Yeah.
the show. But
Let me
Chucky has
ask you this.
personality.
What do you think about A24's Friday the 13th series?
I hate. I'm sorry. Other than Talk to Me, I don't like nothing from A24. I feel like
Really?
oh my god, when I went to go see Midsummer, I felt like I was being violated. Like,
That's it.
Yeah.
Yep.
yeah,
I need to-
I'm fine. Like,
I've been
no.
meaning to go back and watch Midsommar, because I'm like,
Oh,
I've seen
So
it
do
once.
you? So whenever you heard about like the whole A24 Blumhouse and Miramax bidding, were you not rooting for A24 to get the rights?
no,
No.
no. Honestly, I didn't want no one to get it. I thought, to my understanding, I thought that what's his name? Akkad. What's his first name?
Malik.
Malik
Malik
Akkad.
Akkad. I thought he was a dick. So I thought that no one would be getting these rights for a while. So the fact that they were just out here just in Walmart shopping the rights, that's wild to me. So I no, like Blumhouse don't need it again. Just let it, like you said, just let it breathe. No one needs to do anything. Like, just relax. Let it go. Just let it go. It was fun. This was really a time. Like, I think what they pulled off with this is what they tried to do back in 2007 with Rob Zombie's movies. But I just feel like, it was an exciting time for 4 or 5 years. We had Michael Myers, Laurie Strode, Jamie Lee Curtis came back. Michael was scary again, but give us time. Give us time.
No, I get
Please.
it. Yeah.
Yeah.
What was that, Miguel? What was that one crazy one? I was trying to find it. I thought it was an A24 movie. I'm blanking on the name. The one where it's her twin on the back, whatever.
Oh, Malignant.
Malignant.
I hate that movie too.
Was
I hate
Malignant
that movie
A24?
Yeah, it was.
Oh,
It was
Was
A24 movie. Yeah. Because that one was perpetuating a possible horror verse thing. Like that got really superhero vibes. He's like, I'm locking you up forever until I need you again, or something like that. Because she had that, she finally was able to take control of her body and lock her tumorish brother in her head. Yeah.
That was not A24. That was New Line. That was New Line and Atomic Monster, because it's a James Wan movie, and Atomic Monster is James
I thought James
Wan.
Wan was A24. My mistake.
No, Atomic Monster is James Wan. Yeah, I didn't remember. I don't know. I think I don't know. I could almost see it work more for Friday the 13th, because you could do the Pamela thing, which I think they've already said the Friday the 13th series is going to be it's gonna be like Pamela and Jason. Like it's gonna tell both of their stories.
It's called just Crystal Lake though, right?
It's called Crystal Lake, yes.
Okay.
And like, but I could see Jason being more of an anthology than Michael. I could see Freddy being more like doing a Freddy's Nightmares type thing. I could see, I could see that working as a series more than Michael. You know, like I don't know. I like with Elm Street. I feel like it would be cool. Like I've always said, I thought this would be great if with Elm Street, if you took one full season where it was like this really eerie, atmospheric crime drama where like kids are going missing and people are dying and they arrest Freddy Krueger, and then you do the whole he gets off on the wrong charges and the parents burn him in the final episode of that season. And then like the last 2 minutes of the episode is the first time you get like burnt demon Freddy. Would that not be sick?
That would be
and then
good.
and then boom, season 2 you can do the Freddy's Nightmares thing, and you can do whatever you want after that. But like I don't know, I feel like it would be really cool like to work as like a crime drama type thing where it's like people are scared because I don't know, I think that'd be kind of neat. But again, you can't do that with Halloween because there's not. Michael is just evil. There's not as much of an arc for him. Even Jason, we know Jason's backstory. Jason drowned. Jason is doing what he's doing for his mother. Like Michael is doing what he's doing because he wants to.
Because he wants to, yeah. Because he's shape.
Like, that's just it.
The beauty, the fear of the shape is because it's, there's no reasoning. That's the fear of it.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Andrew Stevens said, Ghost Stories in Haddonfield, different moments between the OG timeline and miniseries, just throwing something out there. But see, again, if you're going to tell the Michael Myers story and then jump and do something completely different before continuing the Michael Myers story, like, why attach Halloween to that then?
Yeah,
I was about to sneeze. I don't know.
Ghost, okay.
Rosalie, yeah, I don't know. Rosalia said, Silver Shamrock Mask stories. Like, yeah, like do something like that. I don't know. It just, it's hard, man. I don't know. I don't know what they're gonna do with the series. I'm really not sure.
I think a dive into the Silver Shamrock would be a enjoyable trip down memory lane for Halloween 3. So I am all for the Silver Shamrock. I am a Silver Shamrock fan.
I get it. Me too, man. So we're about an hour and 43 minutes in to start to kind of wrap this up. So again, I put the poll in the chat, and it's kind of interesting. 62% say that Halloween 2 1981 is the better direct sequel to Halloween 78, while 38% say that Halloween 2018 is the better sequel. I have, like I said, I have love for both of these movies for different reasons. I love that H2 is a direct continuation. It feels the same. It looks the same. The character continuity is a little bit more the same. But again, I love that 18 is its own thing. It tried to do something more. It tried to build upon the characters, and it did its own thing. So I don't know. I mean, what's your pick? What's your pick for the better direct sequel?
I'm going with 40 years later, man. I gotta stick with it. I'm sorry. And the fact that I literally watched 1978 and Halloween 2 literally back to back, and then I watched 2018 like a day or two later. Halloween 2 is not bad at all. It's top tier. But story-wise, and the thing that makes the most sense, I just think 2018 makes more sense. Like, well, not make more sense, but it's more realistic for me, I would say. So, yeah.
I get that. Yeah. Miguel, what do you think?
I'm going with 2018 as well. Simply because of the fact that as a story as a whole, it felt more cohesive, and it felt like it was more invested as opposed to just being another drunk sequel, is what I think Halloween 2 felt like. So that's where I was.
I want to say they're a tie, but I know I can't do that because that ain't the name of the game. For me, I think there were things that I liked. I think Halloween 2 kind of like wraps a lot of things up that the trilogy did. Like you have Loomis in the flesh, which is something that 2018 can't say it has, you know. So you get Donald Pleasance still being Loomis, which is a huge plus. Laurie is a little bit of a downfall in H2 because she doesn't have a whole lot to do, and the stuff she does do, it's just kind of like, why, you know. I do like the whole kind of like the little bit of panic. Like you heard people saying that Halloween Kills was like you know, like H4 and H2 got drunk and had a kid, and that's what Halloween Kills is. And it really kind of is. Like even the scene, I love the moment in H2 when Loomis and Loomis and Hunt pull up and everybody's throwing rocks at the Myers house and the cop walks out onto the balcony. Like all of that stuff was really cool. You know, I think logically my brain tells me Halloween 2 1981. My heart tells me Halloween 2018. Because
I was just about to say, pack the bag and come on over here.
It has the epicness that I think H2 doesn't have. You know what I mean? So I think for me, for the experience, for as a whole, I think I have to go with Halloween 2018. Now I will say I've seen Halloween 281 probably more than any of the other sequels. I adore that movie. I own 5 different copies of H2. Like I adore that movie, but again, I think my heart's telling me 2018. So I know people would disagree.
We're all in agreement, right?
I still want to see that alternate ending though.
Where is it?
I still want to see the alternate. I feel like by it being like
I know they
anniversary,
got it.
They should have just re-released it on Blu-ray or something or 4K
like,
or something.
I know they have it. Where is it?
Yeah,
for real. Maybe I'm really holding out hope. I told my wife, I was like, I've almost bought the Halloween box set from before the trilogy.
The one that just came? Yeah.
And I told my wife, I was like, listen, I said, I don't even want to know how much money it's going to cost. But if they, in 2028, if they come out with a 50-year box set with every one of the movies, I was like, I'm going to be pulling out the credit card, and I just need you to not be doing that because like, I have to, like, I can't not. But for real, where is that alternate ending? Like, why is it not on any release?
I'm confused. But Kills, we have that alternate ending though. I'm so confused.
Yeah, which was like not like I don't know between the two. I'd much rather see the other one, you know.
Yeah.
Because we saw glimpses of it in the trailer.
Yeah.
You know.
I think because the final fight took place outside, right?
Yeah, it took. I think.
Yeah.
I think she shot him with either Karen or Laurie.
Karen,
shot him
it
with
was
a
Karen.
Crossbow.
Yeah.
And
because I read the original script too, so yeah.
I think both Laurie and Michael, like one goes this way and one goes the other way, and like Michael dies. Like they both go off in the woods and die. Essentially, is I think what the ending was. So, I don't know.
See it. Oh, well.
I mean, I don't wish it would have happened, but I still would like to see it.
Right.
Real quick, Andrew Stevens says, well, with Malik wanting to keep Michael Myers relevant while he's still hot, what is the best option to not feel burned out? Because honestly, if you stop here, there's nothing wrong with that. I agree. I mean, there's nothing wrong either way. But I do think because he's a cash cow, they're going to keep going, you know. I will say I've never heard that Malik was a dick. I mean, I've personally never heard that. I very much appreciate the fact that because when Mustafa died, Malik could have very easily been like, okay, this was his thing. I don't care anymore. Like, whatever.
Right.
And I appreciate that Malik is keeping Halloween alive. You know what I mean? Even if it is going to be kind of a continuous, you know, Rosie said earlier in the chat, it's like a rabbit hole that just keeps getting deeper and deeper and deeper. It never ends. You know what I mean? So I don't know, but I do. I have respect for him, and I have respect for the fact, even through Rob Zombie stuff, and even for like giving different people cracks at it, you know. Yeah. So for whatever it's worth. But, so that's it, man. For us, my boy. Let me pull that thumbnail back up. That mask is sexy. Which one? Is, man.
Both
yeah, I was gonna say which one.
The 2018 mask, man. Ooh.
Okay.
Oof.
Yeah.
I gotta say, there's not any good stills of the Halloween 2 mask, which I know it's the same mask from the original, but like, there's not any really good looking shots. Yeah, man, that's awesome.
Right, bro.
Yeah, that's awesome. There's not any like good looking shots of it. I don't know. I still think. What's your favorite mask from the trilogy? 18 kills or ends. I know they're the same thing technically, but like, what stage
I don't like the
of it?
mold on ends. I will say I didn't like the mold.
Really?
So I honestly, I'm gonna stick with 2018 because
Yeah.
just
Mhm.
eh,
I didn't like how
the-
Trick or Treat Studio treats the ends mask. It just seems
right.
dirty. Yeah, which I get it.
Pause.
You know, takes a while. So
I'm still here.
Right.
oh, she's probably gonna pull out his fucking mask. Careful, he's gonna take some
You
time to
so
comb
fed
his
up.
shit too. Yeah, no,
But
but
yeah,
I
I don't know.
2018 is a good mask. I'd agree, but I think my favorite one probably would be kills. I like kills.
The
At least
burn
that one,
and
yeah, the
the little
burns kind of helps too, and the bullet hole. But then whenever you get to like it gets all decrepit and shit, it looks like Rob Zombie 2 mask, where like you
yeah,
get like half the whole face out.
yeah.
That's just too much for me.
Take your pick.
Mm, I'm gonna go with kills because ends look like he has some cotton balls going on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
It is very
crazy.
cotton bally.
Yeah.
It's very cotton bally.
So I got a
Kills-
question.
I think the Kills mask is my favorite mask in the entire series. Not the Trick or Treat Studio, just in general.
Yeah.
I think it's my favorite look.
So question.
Shoot.
Like how comfortable is it knowing these masks are in your house? I would be so
Oh,
scared.
I love it.
Yes,
People
yes.
think it's weird. I love it. Absolutely love it.
Bro, I would be terrified.
I actually.
Luckily
I
for
don't-
him, they're in the basement, so they're not like
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
they're
it's
not, like,
it's away from
chilling
people.
around
It's
his
not
house.
like it's not like people.
I'm thinking
walk
it's
in
like
and they're
next door.
No.
Nah.
Oh,
It would have been funny if he kept it like on each window because he has enough mask to like put it on each window. So like every single window you look, and then it's
Yeah,
just
could
like
you imagine?
Michael's mask.
No.
don't do that.
No.
That would be a very unwelcoming scene, I'll say.
No, seriously.
Yeah. I wish I could find it. I don't have it on my computer. I don't think I have it on my computer. Let me find it. I took a picture a few years ago when I first got the 2018 mask is somewhere. I don't have space to put them all up. That's why I only have a couple of them like out. But I took a picture of myself with the lighting. Like I took my ring light and I took a couple of things, and I put the 2018 mask on, like the Trick or Treat Studios mask, and I took a picture of myself in my kitchen. It looks dope. Oh, I do have it. Holy crap, I do have it.
I bet it shows a picture of you in a mask.
Yep. Okay. This is stock. My Trick or Treat Studios mask is stock. Like okay. I traced in. I put some black in some of the lines, in some of the cracking. Like I defined the cracking a little bit. That was all I did. Or maybe this isn't the 2018 mask. No, this is okay. This is never mind. This is the Boogeyman mask. Do you remember? Are you into the Trick or Treat Studio stuff, JT? Like, do you look at their catalog or look at any of their stuff?
I only see stuff like people on Twitter. That's it.
So they came out with two versions of the 78 mask. They came out with, I forget what they call it. I think they might just call it the 78. But it's like it's got the castle stretch, like it looks how it looks in the movie. Or they have the Boogeyman mask, and the Boogeyman mask is what I have. And the Boogeyman is basically like I debated on which I went back and forth on which one to get. The Boogeyman is just straight the Shatner mask, like it's not purposely made to look like it's on Nick Castle's face. It's just made to look like the movie. This is me with my ring light in the mask.
Oh, that's good.
It's
Damn.
That is good.
I took that in my kitchen like 3 or 4 years ago.
Damn.
Yeah.
Imagine if your wife walked in and saw that.
I know, right?
I would have passed out.
She was there. She was like, "What the hell are you doing?"
Oh well, I love that for her.
Yeah.
Wow, that's actually a really good pick.
It's pretty dope, man.
Legit.
And all I did was I put the ring light on the side and I switched it to like the blue setting, and yeah. So.
Jesus, even like the neck hole.
Yeah, the chin line.
Yeah.
And I'm telling you, man, these people, they think that the Trick or Treat Studios masks suck, but if you get them in the right lighting, man, the original mask looks kind of dumb in broad daylight, like, you know. So, but listen, guys, this has been an absolute blast. JayTee, thank you so much for coming on, buddy. We
Anytime.
love you.
Anytime.
We appreciate your support from day one, and you've become a real great friend of us and of the channel, and we still got to get to Atlanta, dude.
I was just about to say, I'm just ready to meet you guys in person. That's it.
100%, man. It's got to happen. We got to go visit some filming locations because, good Lord, we could do 2
literally 15 minutes away is where they film Stranger Things at from our apartment.
That's
15
awesome.
minutes away.
I want to see the Stranger Things stuff, and I want to see the Walking Dead stuff. I want to see like where
I can take you to Tyler Studios. I got my little card. I can take you right on the campus.
Hey,
let me know when you're ready, dog.
So dope.
Let me know when you're ready.
That's awesome, man. But again, JayTee, thank you so much. Do you have anything coming up on your channel? Anything you're doing that you want to share?
So right now I'm actually like currently revamping my channel now. That's why I was running late because I did a photo shoot and all that for that today. But
sick.
However, I do have a podcast out now. It's called The Comment Section, and we talk about all things pop culture, like things that's going on and stuff, movies, music,
Amazing.
television shows, and stuff like this. So I got to have you guys on that. I co-host with this guy. He's a good friend of mine. We met because he did YouTube and stuff. He's big like with that, and his name is Marcus White. And literally, all we do is talk trash and have fun about these crazy celebrities. And I would love to have you guys on and stuff. Like we literally just talk crazy. So yeah,
anytime. That's the comment section.
It's called the comment section. It's on Spotify and Apple. Anyway, you can listen to podcasts, really. So
sweet, yeah, man. I definitely we'll have to go give that a listen, man. I'm gonna listen tomorrow. We'll start listening to it, man. The comments.
We appreciate it. We appreciate it. We really do.
That's awesome. But again, everybody in the chat, man, we had quite a few people in the chat tonight, and you guys were talking and sharing your thoughts, and I absolutely love that. That's so cool. The channel has been like, the community aspect of this channel is like, over the last month and a half or so has just been like so awesome. It's so dope. And that was like the goal from the beginning, man. Like,
I'm glad to see how much it's grown since then.
Being with people, doing what we're doing right here, man. It's awesome. So, and JayTee, you've been a big part of that from the very beginheing. So, thank you.
Like I tell you guys all the time, I'm just proud of you guys. Like, I remember when I first, I heard when Kills was coming out and everything like that, I listened to like your that episode was like 2 hours long. And I remember even when I got to work, I had like my AirPod in and like a customer was talking to me. I said, give me 1 second. And I was trying to hear what y'all said. So I was going back and all of that because like, bro, but and then I reached out to you guys. You guys, instantly responded. And just seeing you guys just being so consistent all the time. You guys are funny. You guys are naturals. Like, I love this for you guys. I really do. I cannot wait to see the greatness is going to continuously come to you guys. Like, in any time. I told you. He was like, are you doing anything next Saturday? I said, I think I'm doing. You told me what you was doing. I said, don't worry about it. I'll make it happen. Like, I will always show up for you guys. I don't care. You guys just let me know. That's all. Just let me know. I'm so proud of you guys.
Well, you know what we're planning on getting to in the next year, and I've bookmarked it. You don't have a choice. You're going to be on the show for this.
Okay.
We're going to be hopefully getting through all the Friday the 13th so that Miguel can finally see them. Oof. And at the end of the Friday the 13th in the Elm Street franchise, we got to get Freddy versus Jason in there.
Let me know.
You've got a story about Freddy versus Jason, right?
Yes, that's my movie.
Yeah, yes. So you don't get a choice. You're going to be the guest on the Freddy versus Jason.
Let me know. Let me know.
It's going to happen. So,
yes.
But listen, everybody, you are the absolute best. We are going to hit the 2-hour mark for this show. And you guys are amazing. We love you so much. New episodes of our shows premiere every single week at 8:30 p.m. Eastern. You can follow us on Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, and Threads at LTM Podcast KY. I still feel weird saying Threads. Like, I kind of forget Threads exist, and then I'm like, oh, yeah.
Hey, but you know what? We got an account on there, so.
We have an account, and I always forget about it. But you guys are amazing. Have an awesome rest of your weekend. And JayTee, have a good one, buddy. We will talk to you soon.
You guys, too.
Right.
Bye.
All right.
Have a good one, guys. Peace out. See ya.